Hello. On today's video, I'm going to be talking about all of the things related to life in the East Coast versus life on the West Coast. If you don't know this about me, I actually grew up on the East Coast. I grew up in a small town called Greater Reno, Massachusetts. It's part of the Berkshires, which is a small cluster of little towns in western Massachusetts, just about 2.5 hours from Boston and about 3 hours from New York City. So kind of nestled in the country, but close to a lot of major cities. I've also lived in the Southwest. I lived in Taos, New Mexico, and I've lived all over California, and now I've relocated to Reno, Nevada. So with that knowledge and that experience of living on both coasts and in the Southwest, I feel pretty well equipped to kind of give you an overview of the differences. And I've also had the experience of relocating. So if you're someone who's thinking about moving from the West Coast to our area, I would love to be a resource for you in that way. So without further ado, let's dive in. So both coasts are beautiful and known for their beautiful scenery. Obviously on the East Coast, in the northern parts, you've got New England, you've got the 4 seasons, the changing of the leaves, all of that natural beauty. And then as you make your way south, you will end up in Florida, where there are beautiful beaches and semi-tropical weather. Now on the West Coast, we've got the beautiful mountain ranges, the big mountains, the big skiing mountains, which obviously if you are interested in the Reno Sparks area, you might be choosing us because we are close to Tahoe. We have amazing skiing and amazing mountain sports all year round. We also have the Pacific Ocean over here. So both coasts have a lot of beautiful natural features to offer. On both coasts, there is a lot of cultural diversity. Both are known for their cultural events and populations. And on both sides of the country, you have major cities that feature a wide variety of museums, festivals, restaurants, and all of the amenities that kind of come with being a major metropolis. Unfortunately, one of the negative similarities of coast-to-coast living is the high cost of living, right? It's significantly cheaper to purchase property in the middle of our country. Typically, housing, food, and transportation are going to cost you much more on either coast. Now let's talk about some of the major differences. East to West Coast, one of the big things you're going to notice is climate. Now, take that with a grain of salt. Obviously, there are nuanced variations. The coasts are both very large, so if you're traveling north to south, you're gonna see different climates and you're gonna see little pockets of places that have a much wider variety. But in general, the East Coast tends to be a bit more temperate. There's a lot more change. You know, the northeastern part of our country is kind of known for 4 distinct seasons, whereas on the West Coast, if you're not in the mountains, which we are in Reno and Tahoe, but if you're down in the valleys, it's much more moderate. Another major difference you may find is lifestyle. The East Coast is largely known for being fast-paced, hustling and bustling, grinding, moving, working all the time, and things happen really fast over there. Now, the West Coast is known for being a bit more laid back, a little bit more easygoing, but again, it depends. If you're in a major city, you'll still find that the hustle and bustle are part of your daily life. Another major difference, which I think is super interesting, being that I'm in the real estate industry, is housing styles. On the East Coast, obviously, homes there are typically much older, so you're gonna see a lot more traditional housing architecture and older buildings, a lot more history there, versus on the West Coast, you're going to find a lot more modern, contemporary architecture. I love both, so honestly, if I had to choose, I don't think I could. All right, another big difference between the two are in the job opportunities that they offer. Obviously, there's industry everywhere. You can probably make your way if you are an expert or super skilled or trained in a certain area wherever you go. That being said, the industries that exist on the East Coast are a lot more known for their finance and media versus the West Coast, which is largely home to technology and entertainment. And lastly, we're going to talk about traffic, because it does exist on both coasts, and obviously, if you're in a major city, there's traffic no matter what. However, the West Coast tends to be a bit more congested. There's a little bit more population density in the major cities, so The traffic on the West Coast, I have to say, does, in my opinion, trump that of the East Coast. Okay, you guys, what do you think? I want to know in the comments below if you have any similarities and differences of East to West Coast of the United States. It's a big country, and both coasts are really large north to south, so there are a lot of variations in there. I'd love to hear from you where you live, what it's like, and if you're thinking about making a move from the East Coast to the Reno Sparks area, I would love to be a resource for you. I've done this, and I'm also a real estate agent in this community. I would love to hop on a call and answer any of your questions and help you devise your next and best steps. There's a link in the description box below that you can click. It's totally free, and you can book a call with me at your convenience. And if you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it if you would smash that like and that subscribe button. I put out new content every single week about the Northern Nevada lifestyle, the Reno Sparks housing market, and all things having to do with buying and selling property. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.